Hey everybody, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So for today's pick a card, we are doing the next 6 months ahead. So just to clarify, this is timeless. So if you've come to this reading and you're looking for just the next 6 months ahead, it is timeless. But for all intensive purposes, for those of you watching it right when I put it out there, just think of this as the second half of 2022. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into today's reading. We have a lot to cover, including finances, career, love, how you will be shown love, the love that other people will dote on you, who you're becoming, and then we have a 6-month spread. So I have a lot to cover in this reading, so buckle up. Yeah, so let's just get into the crystals, and then timestamps are below in the description box and in the comment section, and we'll get on with the reading. So I'm going to show you the crystals one by one right now. So first crystal we have is Amethyst, this Amethyst cluster. That's group 1. Group 2 is Pink Tourmaline. It's group 2. Group 3 is this Blue Lace Agate. It's group 3. And group 4 is the Tangerine Quartz. So take all the time you need to pick your crystal. You can pause the video here if you need to. With that said, we're going to get right into the reading. I am excited for this one, guys. I don't think I've ever filmed a 6-month ahead reading, so this is like very new for me, but I'm really excited to get into it. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into group number 1 with the Amethyst. Hey, group 1, this is if you picked the purple amethyst. Well, all amethyst is purple, so if you pick the amethyst, this is your group. Okay, let's get into your reading. So we have the next 6 months ahead. This reading is divided into 2 parts. We have our first part, which is finances, career, love, how you'll be shown love, and personality growth. And then the second part, which is a month-by-month layout of the times that's going to progress, basically. So yeah, let's get into the reading. We're going to start off the reading with how your personality will develop, or new traits of your personality in the upcoming 6 months. We have Destroyer. The first thing that's coming to mind with this card, before I flip out all the rest of the cards, is that there's going to be an element of like newness in the upcoming 6 months. Let me get the rest of the cards and then we'll get into the reading. So I'm going to draw 2 career-focused cards. I'm going to draw one for what the finances are going to look like, or things that are going to be dealing with finances in your upcoming 6 months. A general theme, a general financial theme that will be going on. And we have Beware. And I'm going to pull a job, or a kind of career focused. So for those of you who are looking to get into a new career, or are looking for some kind of other work, maybe like a side hustle or something like that. Basically those of you who are looking to get into something, this card will be for you. It's also going to give me an indication of just what type of work you'll be feeling most comfortable to do, or what will be the general vibe of like how you will feel, basically. And we have The Office. Then we're going to pull a Love Story Oracle card. And we have Differences. And for our Whispers of Love card, see if I can move this over to here. For our Whispers of Love card, we have Romance. Lavish the ones you love with personal attention and affection. Yeah, so for you guys, for who chose this purple amethyst, there's a lot of change coming up in your there's a lot of change coming up in your next 6 months. So this is a time where like a lot of things will be shifting or changing. And the cards are urging you that in this time of like shifting sands, basically, you want to be careful of a few things. First, you do want change to come. You want that change, because I'm definitely seeing that a lot of good change with Destroyer, right? We have this volcano here, right? It's literally you're going to create a new landmass, basically what the idea of this volcano, something's going to erupt, and when the ash and the dust settles, it creates a new solid foundation to work from. So there's a few things though with Destroyer and the cards here. It is warning you about, because you're going to be changing so much in the next 6 months, or you're going to be going through such a big transformation. It is warning you about like other people. Like this Fox card kind of makes me think of like shady people with beware. And so it's definitely saying in regard to your finances or making money deals, beware of the type of money deals you are making in the next 6 months. So just be extra cautious of it. You might actually want to further research. I see with office work, you might be good at this as well, but further researching like purchases and see if it's the right price range for you, or the right, kind of seeing if this person is the best bang for their buck, basically. And also check in on the reputability of people and with your money and where you're putting your money. So this would be probably not the best time to invest, or if you're investing any money, unless it's fully well researched. Things are just in general not what they seem when it comes to your finances. This could include situations where you might be feeling kind of like the polar opposite of like your financial situation. So you might have like tons of abundance, tons of riches, tons of wealth, and still be feeling very like having that lack mindset, still like feel like you're penny pinching, that kind of thing. Or this is kind of a situation where you are, you probably need to save for the future, but you're spending like crazy. So just beware of that. Like, literally it says beware. Beware of that. This is just something to be cautious of. This card is also warning, don't make any type of financial commitments right now. It's warning you to kind of not, what are those things where you like subscribe to things, like, I know they have them on like Patreon and stuff, and there's other things. Like this is not the time to start paying for a new gym membership, for example. Anything that's like a new subscription. The cards are urging you to kind of like limit your subscriptions, or narrow down your subscriptions, or back out of any contracts with subscriptions in them. And that's kind of something that, I think with this Destroyer card, it's interesting because there's just a clearing out of kind of like the old, right? There's kind of literally like this eruption of like backlogged feelings, basically, that's coming out in the next 6 months. It's going to be really like purifying, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. The time period and stuff like that. It's just that it could feel a little bit like a purging process. And trigger warning, I guess. When you kind of get sick and you have to go to the toilet and stuff, and you're like sick and stuff, it feels like bad at first, but once you get all that stuff out of your system, right? Once you've purged and gotten it out of your system, you feel a lot better, you feel a lot cleaner, you feel a lot more whole, you feel better about yourself. So this is just kind of indicating that there's almost like a purging process that's going to be happening in the next 6 months. And even though some of the purging might be like feel uncomfortable at first, it's like there's going to be as time goes on, there's going to be kind of like a better feeling in your body. Like after you get rid of something or you destroy something. Destroyer is funny. It's coming up as Destroyer because literally I see you kind of like taking out your rage on like certain things. Like, for example, with differences here with the romance, this could indicate that like you are really figuring out what made you different from one of your exes, and you're like deciding, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna burn their shit, or I'm gonna get rid of their stuff. Like I'm gonna take a bat to this teddy bear that they got me, and I'm gonna bash it up. Something like that. Like literally actual destruction might be a key part in the next 6 months. And getting into something with Destroyer, getting into something that's kind of a little like, what's it called? Guttural or robust or something like that could really help. Like, getting in, like punching with a punching bag or something like that, or kind of letting your rage come out. I'm definitely seeing with this Destroyer, with this volcano, volcanoes have to erupt periodically, right? And the thing is with volcanoes, they can be dormant for like 5 or 10 years. So I don't expect, if you're kind of thinking like, oh, this, might not be like my month ahead. I'm not this kind of person, there might be kind of a situation or something that calls you into being this kind of person, but I definitely feel it's going to be more pleasant than negative. It's like more, how do I put this? It feels good. It finally feels good to let some stuff out, and to get that stuff and let it out of your body or purge it out of your body. Real quick with the office, this is just indicating work that could be beneficial in the next 6 months. This is indicating that just typical like office work could be beneficial. So even if you work in an office, maybe catching up on paperwork or stuff like that, or even like with this managerial role aspect to it, something about this could be beneficial is like being more of a managerial role for other people, like kind of helping people and guiding them. I see that kind of like there's almost like a sense of a leadership position, but leadership in kind of like the typical like paperwork type of stuff. I see that if you have a home office or you have some kind of environment where you do your work in, this place is going to feel very pleasant to you in the next 6 months. Like if you've been kind of like the type of person, or you've been feeling the vibe of like, oh, I hate going into the office, or I hate going into the working area where I have to do all my stuff, basically this office space, this area where you work is going to feel a lot better. Something that could help, I know you guys see crystals here. This is kind of my office when I do my readings and stuff, but maybe adding some crystals to your office could really be beneficial. I would just look up crystals that can help you focus, because I'm seeing that's going to be good, and also help you relax. Like having a relaxed focus is going to be very beneficial in the next 6 months. And so looking up crystals of that nature, especially if you already have them or you've already purchased them, and then just keeping those around in the office, or maybe moving a few of them to the office or something like that, would be very beneficial. With differences, it's interesting because I see that with a love situation, and this could be, for a lot of you, this is an ex that you've already broken up with in the past. But for some of you, your love situation, you could be noticing a little bit more differences in your connection. And for some of you, it could be a positive thing. You could be noticing how you're different, and that could coalesce into like shared skills. There's differences does not necessarily have to be negative, but at the same time, I'm seeing that these differences, if you have the ex, the story that's coming to my head right now is the person who has the ex and they haven't gotten over their ex yet, and the ex is like long-standing. This is kind of like a long-standing issue. This is kind of the idea that, with these matches and kind of like the smoke clearing, right? This is kind of the final purging process before the match is fully out. It's kind of like you think when you blow the match out, you kind of think the match is out or the flame is out. You're like, it's finally done. It's finally over. But oftentimes the smoke has to clear, right? And so that's kind of what's going on right here with the differences. It's like the smoke kind of has to clear, and you're kind of getting over certain things that you thought were, compatible between you and them, and like these certain ideas that you have of your idea of a relationship with that type of person, and you're kind of purging them too with the Destroyer card. This is kind of the mindset that you're getting into, I guess, in the next 6 months, is this kind of purging out the negative energy, purging out the negative experiences, all that good stuff. If you already are a manager or in an administrative position, this is just a really beneficial card for your career. So if you are in management or some kind of administrative career, this is going to be a very beneficial card for you. Basically, it's saying that like things are going to run a lot smoothly. You'll have a lot more control over the people in your environment. And I see your fellow coworkers or people beneath you in like the management role kind of really stepping up to the plate and taking care of their responsibilities. On the flip side, the reason why the differences card is coming up for an ex specifically for most of you, for others of you, you're noticing differences in your relationship, but I don't see it like having that drastic of an effect, because with romance here, for those of you who are in a romantic commitment, romance is just showing that your partner is going to be extra romantic the upcoming next six months. There's kind of like an air of romance between you two. There's kind of like a spark reignited. And I definitely see that for people who are in relationships, there's something along the lines of a renewed kind of commitment. For those of you who are not in relationships right now, you're going to be getting a lot of attention from members of the sex that you're actually attracted to. So for example, if you're like a female interested in a male, you're going to be getting a lot of male attention. If you're a male interested in male, you're going to be getting a lot of male attention. If you're a female into female, you're going to be getting a lot of female attention. So there's kind of like this aspect with romance, kind of like things coming to you that you kind of like, it's interesting. This purging process that's cleansing you out, it's kind of this cleansing vibe, right? Because you're getting rid of these negative things in your life, either in your mind with your thoughts or like clutter in your house or this could really be anything with the Destroyer card. You're kind of attracting these people who are kind of excited by your explosive nature. They're kind of excited by that spark that you've kind of created, right? And so they're really wanting to lavish romance and affection on you. You might get a lot of wooing, like typical flowers, candies, stuff like that. A lot of wooing in that kind of that nature. Another thing that's coming to mind, if you, for some of you, this is for a rare, some of you, most of you are going to be getting this romantic attention, but oftentimes, like a lot of you, what could happen is like your family could want to spend a lot of time with you, or your children would want to go on like play dates with you, or your children think of these fantastic places to go to and they want you to kind of take them. So your children might think of going to places like amusement parks or like really nice dinners or something, or like suggest something you really want to do, or they're doing little things for you, little things to show their appreciation towards you. So yeah, with romance, I'm definitely saying for most of you, this card is representative of a new person coming in or a current relationship getting a little bit more romantic. Kind of that spark is getting reignited. And remember, the general vibe of this 6 months with the Destroyer card, with this volcano, it's almost like you have to purge out these things, but once everything settles, once everything kind of settles back onto, it's like building a new foundation for the future, right? So this next 6 months is kind of about getting to that standing point where you're purging those things out, and then you're getting that new foundation to work from there. Another interpretation that is coming to mind for some of you is that your partner might be feeling a lot more romantic and showering a lot of romance onto you, but with differences here, you might not be feeling as romantic as your partner. And that's something that's coming in for a lot of you. You might kind of be pushing them away even though they're trying to sweep you off your feet. So that could be an area of contention with the differences. But for most of you, I'm just seeing that the differences basically just indicate that you guys are exploring you're exploring your differences. You're like, okay, I'm different from you in this way, and you're different from me in this way, and that's okay. We can still coexist. We can still have a harmonious relationship. So that's something but a lot of you, I'm just seeing that X come through. I'm seeing the smoke has to clear with this X, and you have to purge out some things from this X or this previous relationship because they're almost weighing you down. And so you have to kind of purge out of that mindset. All right, so group 1, this is all I have for you for part 1 of your reading. We're going to move on to part 2 in a second. And okay, everyone, this is part 2 of your reading. If you chose the Amethyst pile, this is where we're going to get a 6-month ahead spread, a prediction for each month coming up in the next 6 months. So yeah, I'm going to shuffle the tarot cards on camera. I already drew the tea leaf oracle cards, so let's get into it. Let's see what tarot cards we get for Group 1. Okay, this one's to come right here. Feeling a hard shuffle for the rest of these cards. My intuition is telling me not to take reversal, so I am flipping this card over. So let's flip over all these cards. For your first tea leaf oracle card, we have Owl, good advice from a wise person. We have 6 of Pentacles. Then we have Tent, temporary situation. And then we have Knight of Pentacles. Then we have Broom, new home, new attitude, with the 5 of Swords. Then we have the Staff, you will be taken care of in difficult times, with the 10 of Pentacles. Then we have the Bowl, plenty of material things, with the 8 of Swords. And last we have Purse, pay attention to your finances, with the High Priestess. One thing right off the bat that I'm seeing, before I even get into the looking at all of this stuff, one thing right off the bat with the High Priestess and pay attention to your finances, it's reminding me of that Beware card in part 1 of your reading, where you're using your intuition to decide how to manage your money, basically. With that Beware card, it's like you're not making any crazy business deals, you're not making any kind of weird purchases or anything like that. You're actually very cautious. And the High Priestess can represent that cautious energy, because that intuition is what gives you those premonitions, right? And premonitions are what prevent you from doing anything dumb. So you might having a lot of like ideas or premonitions about like cautionary premonitions of like, okay, well, oh wow, okay, so I shouldn't do that, right? Like, oh, I'm getting this message right now that this could happen. Okay, don't do that. It's basically like indicating like, it's basically your imagination playing out kind of like, not even the worst case scenario, just scenarios that could come true, but it's like you're being, how do I put this? Your intuition is saving you from these things. So even if you might even notice that if you go against these intuitions, it might be detrimental to your finances, like you might lose some money. But for the most part, in the very last month of this entire spread, your intuition is going to be serving you very well. I think you're going to really have a solid head on your shoulders as far as like making financial decisions. So that Beware card, it's interesting how it correlates with this. This just gives me more confidence in your ability to make good decisions with that Beware card. You'll have that kind of High Priestess energy in your corner in order to make those decisions. Just wanted to get that out of the way because that's the one thing that I saw relating to the previous cards. Yeah, and one of my examples that I mentioned in the previous reading was of that, or in part 1, was that of someone who has a lot of money, but they are watching their wealth, basically. I'm seeing some indications that you might have some windfalls coming in as well. You just don't want to let those slip through your fingers. I think that's what this kind of energy is coming through to tell you. Interesting. Let's get into your spread. So, Owl, good advice from a wise person, and the 6 of Pentacles. In month 1 of your 6 months ahead, I'm definitely seeing that someone is going to come to you with really wise, good advice, and it's going to be good financial advice. The 6 of Pentacles usually indicates like kind of like, I don't know if it's a handout. It's just like someone giving you kind of like helping you out with like money or a situation or something. This help that's coming to you, it's in the form of advice. It's in the form of like wise counsel. So it's interesting this is coming up in the first month. So you may have been pondering a specific question or something that's been on your mind this month that you're watching this reading, or this time that about the time you're watching this reading, and you're really curious about this specific thing or this specific type of like energy that you're worried about. I'm seeing that for a lot of you, this does deal with financially, like it could be a financial situation that you're kind of worried about, and this person is giving you wise financial advice. Owl also, to me, is one of my spirit animals that I communicate with regularly. So for me, this is representing divine protection, divine guidance, especially with the 6 of Pentacles here, with this guy kind of over these 2 people, providing them with money and stuff like that. This is indicating divine protection and a rebalancing of the scales. So for example, if you were unfairly treated recently or within the past month or 2, and you're really feeling like down on your luck or something like that, the scales are rebalancing in this upcoming month. There's going to be kind of like a good indication of beneficial opportunities coming to you, but also ways out of the situation. Like with this good advice from a wise person, I'm definitely seeing this wise person has great advice for you. You get this beautiful piece of advice from someone, and it really solidifies certain things about your probably either your character or the way you manage money or deal with money or share with other people. It really is balancing out the scales, and the scales can kind of represent karma or like kind of paying what's due. It kind of represents that balancing aspect. And so I'm definitely seeing this advice from this wise person, like helping balance out some karma from the previous month. In month 2, with temporary situation and Knight of Pentacles, I'm seeing that there might be a specific working situation that's unfavorable in this kind of in month 2. And I'm definitely seeing with temporary situation, it's just temporary. It's not going to last the entire rest of the year or the entire rest of the 6 months ahead. But with Knight of Pentacles, you're going to have to work a little extra hard. I'm seeing that someone's probably not pulling their weight with this tent card. And also I'm seeing that there's kind of like a sense that there's something in your career that is also temporary, right? Because I'm definitely seeing that with the Knight of Pentacles coming up and being more of a career focus card, there's actually two interpretations coming through. So the first interpretation in month 1, you kind of have this temporary situation. But if you look at this next card, it says new home, new attitude, and there's a broom. So there's kind of this idea that the tent is a temporary place of residence, right? Somewhere where you have to temporarily set up your place of residence. And then in month 3, there's this there's a picture of a home right here. I'll show you the cards. There's a picture of a home right here, and there's a broom. And so it just represents, and this one looks a lot sturdier than this one. So it just represents kind of reclaiming your territory. So in the career aspect, by this temporary situation, you might have to work a little extra hard, push yourself a little bit more, kind of stick to that dreary routine maybe that you don't want to stick to, and just kind of have to grind it out, basically. There's just kind of this aspect of grinding in month 2. Month 3, though, it's interesting. You're reclaiming your power. The 5 of Swords in this position is actually a very beneficial card, and paired with new home and new attitude. You're reclaiming your power. You're reclaiming your independence. You're reclaiming your sense of self, your self-esteem, your self-worth, your confidence. This is kind of month 3 is where you're really going to start shining, I definitely see. And this new sense of confidence is going to just radiate for the rest of the rest of the 4 months, basically, and probably later into the next year, basically. With new home, new attitude, there's something being shaken up with the broom here representing cleaning house and sweeping. There's something changing in this career position for you. And for some of you, this is not career. This is more like a home situation, right? Where you kind of have to pull more of your weight in this home situation with this tent, but it's a temporary situation. Then when you more assert your independence, you're reclaiming your castle, so to speak, and you're reclaiming your dominance over that situation. So there's basically just a situation in the most general sense that you're reclaiming your dominance over, that you're no longer going to be kind of like slave to these other people. You're basically going to reclaim this independence, and you're going to be the authoritative one. You're going to be the dominant one. It's interesting because office is kind of your card about office work is kind of coming into mind right here. And that's why I thought career situation for this, because I'm definitely seeing you reclaiming your managerial role in this kind of position, or in month 3. So new home and new attitude. You might have a new situation at work. You might have a new attitude about your new situation at work. And this new attitude is kind of contagious. So it gets everyone under you to kind of pull their weight. No longer are you the workhorse, they're the workhorse. And the thing is you know how to distribute the power equally, so no one feels like they're actually working. So that's really beneficial in this situation. That's what I'm seeing. This card, 5 of Swords, never comes out this good. This interpretation I'm getting for it is very, very positive in this specific situation. It's about reclaiming your dominance, reclaiming your authority, and reclaiming your position of responsibility or position of power. Now, month 4, it's interesting. It says you will be taken care of in difficult times. This is kind of one of those situations where I'm seeing that this is where the financial stuff starts to come into play. And there is something where I feel like a lot of you are going to have a lot of wealth. You're going to have a lot of money in this particular time, but I feel like you'll spend it just as fast. And that's the hard part. But that's the hard part to hear, basically. But I'm definitely saying that it might be a little rocky in these next 2 months with month 4 and month 5. But in month 6, you've got this down pat, right? You've got this money management thing down pat, and you figured out a way to utilize your intuition to do it. So that's really cool. It's going to come very natural to you, and you're going to have more understandings of how do I put this? Not just ideas, but actually visions that come to you of how to best manage your money and stuff like that. The High Priestess energy is going to be helping you here a lot. Now, in this fourth month, I'm definitely seeing family and the finances of the family being very helpful for you in this particular time. You'll be taken care of in difficult times can also represent that you are the head of your family and you have to take care of others at this specific time in your life. With the staff, it represents kind of like something you walk with and something that supports you. So I'm definitely seeing, especially with this 10 of Pentacles, this older figure right in the 10 of Pentacles and the rest of the family, there's something about kind of like the elderly in the family taking care of the younger people in the family. So depending on what position you're in, and that's kind of similar to this vibe right here where the advice came from. So there might be someone who also gave you advice that's also going to be taking care of you a little bit financially in this particular time of the year. So basically like whatever position in the family you're in, if you are the oldest or the youngest, basically the older person's going to have to be taking the responsibility and supporting the younger people or the people that are more helpless. This is kind of like a very caring kind of attitude. And I'm definitely seeing with you'll be taken care of in difficult times. For some of you who are my younger viewers, you might be finding out you have an inheritance coming towards you, or you have some kind of large sum of money that's coming towards you from an older family member that they're probably going to pass some money down to you or something like that. And if you're an older family member, I definitely see that maybe you're thinking of how you're going to help take care of your children in the future. So that's something that's coming through. Another reason why it's important to manage your money well in this period of time. Month 5 is interesting because the Eight of Swords, to me, I don't know, I got this kind of like idea of the Eight of Swords about body image issues because with my Light Seers tarot card deck, there's a woman looking into a mirror and it looks like she's kind of having a confrontation with her reflection. So I'm definitely seeing that, especially because there's water on the ground right below this woman, you know, and she's blindfolded, indicating she can't really see the truth, or her body's bound, indicating that it's confusing for her in the physical realm, right? I'm definitely seeing something along your lines of either your self-image or your body image or something like that is causing you to overindulge in material things. Now, this bowl is filled with food and fruit. So this could be food that you're over purchasing food, you're overeating, something like that, because there's something about feeling like tied up in your body. Something that could be beneficial is like light sporting activities, like playing a game, like either tennis or I don't know why tennis is coming to mind. For some of you, maybe frisbee golf or something like that. But playing like getting out there and doing light physical activity, getting in touch with your body and getting into your body, going on walks or something like that, or doing like stretches or something like that, getting a massage, anything that gets you in touch with your body is going to be beneficial because you're going to spend less money on these material things. I definitely see month 5 is where you could get into the hole financially. And the thing is, you don't want to do that because month 6, you're going to have all of these new visions for how you're going to spend your wealth, how you're going to be paying attention to your money, how you're going to utilize your money, how you're going to spend your money. You know, it kind of starts over here with a little idea. It's kind of like the warning in month 4, like you might want to give an inheritance to someone, or you might be getting some money. You might want to spend it wisely. You might even hear that from someone telling you about spending your money wisely. So in month 5, you might feel a little down on your self-image, or who you are as a person might be a little confused. This could be body image. This could be identity crisis. This could be anything like that. And those things I'm saying, like, they're not going to be as harsh as you think they are. It's just causing this sense of slight dissatisfaction that's causing you to spend money on these material things, right? Yeah, for example, if it's body image stuff, maybe you're looking for that perfect outfit and you can't find that perfect outfit. So you spend more and more money on clothes, right? One shirt after the other, one dress after the other. And basically, it's like nothing really satisfies, right? And that's because of the mindset you're in. It's not that dresses aren't satisfying, it's the mindset. And kind of sometimes the mindset can actually make you purchase things that are not right for you because you're already in the mindset to like make the bad decision, if that makes sense. So you're basically coming out of that in month 6. It's kind of like just something that's gonna happen. I don't know if you can really make this come sooner, but I definitely see it as just something that's happening to you in month 6 with this High Priestess, getting that sense of intuition, getting that really clear vision of how you want to spend your money, how you want to work with your finances. So keep that in mind. Any of you that are going through month 5, or if you're rewatching this reading, you're looking at month 5, keep that in mind, that month 6 is just around the corner. I think I'm going to end your guys' reading there. I really enjoyed reading for you today. It was a pleasure. And if you like this reading, feel free to like or comment below. And if you really like the reading, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. With that said, we're going to move on to group 2 with the pink tourmaline. Hey, group 2, this is if you picked the red tourmaline or pink tourmaline. Come on, Cody, remember the name of your crystals. Okay, so let's get into your reading. First card that we have for this reading. Oh yeah, by the way, your reading is going to be in 2 parts. So we'll have one layout of the cards up top here for the first part of the reading, and then we'll have another layout of the cards in part 2, which will be a month by month. But part 1 is just going to be general stuff going on. This card already wants to come out. We have Poet. And Part one's just basically going to be personality, finances, and love. So finances and careers. So let's get a card for the finances of the upcoming 6 months. Oh, wow. We got the people you spend the most time with shape who you are. And then we're going to get another card. Like a hard shuffle for this deck. This is going to be generally like work or something that is going to be most suited for your nature in this particular time. So, oh, this one wants to come out. We have Peacemaker. Wow. You have very pleasant energy so far. I'm really enjoying your kind of vibe, group 2. Okay, now let's get a Love Story Oracle card for the energy. This deck needs a hard shuffle for sure. Okay, get a Love Story Oracle card for love for group 2. We have patience. And we're going to get a Whispers of Love card for how others will be showing you love in this period. And this card wants to come out. We have New Love. Embrace an opportunity for love in your work prospects or for spiritual growth. Group 2, you have very nice energy. It's like very peaceful, very chill, I really like it. It reminds me of, it's funny you picked the pink tourmaline because it kind of reminds me of rose quartz, right? Like it reminds me of kind of like a pink stone, kind of, it's very vibey like that. Yeah, it's very chill, relaxed. I really enjoy it. Okay, so first of all, with Poet, we have expresses soul insights and symbolic language. Something that's going to be very interesting in the next 6 months for you and the person you're kind of becoming is this kind of poet type figure. This doesn't have to be traditional poetry, but it could represent traditional poetry. So basically, it would be like you creating poems or written words or some kind of creation, or trying to translate things into creation through symbolic language. I feel like a lot of you are going to be recording a lot of the stuff that goes on in the next 6 months. Like either you're going to have something like a gratitude journal, you're just going to be doing a lot of journaling in general, and your language that you're journaling with is actually going to be a little bit more poetic than normal. It's going to be a little more flowery, a little more intuitive. You might actually be very in tune with your dreams, or in the next 6 months, you might have very beautiful dream imagery when you're sleeping. There's also something about your speaking voice and kind of how you talk to people that's coming through, that the way you talk to people, the way you communicate with people is going to be more poetic in the next 6 months. There's something about learning how to use your voice in a seductive way that's really something that's coming through for this group. And also something I'm seeing with Patience and New Love and Poet, you might actually be writing a love interest poetry, or you might be writing poetry about a particular love interest. Either way, with Poet coming up here, it just indicates that having that kind of ability to create art, to create poetry, to create symbolism for the feelings that you're experiencing. I think very much so, you'll be able to put your own feelings into words that other people can understand. So for example, you might get a lot of people who are like following you based on the poetry that you write. So this might be a good indication that based on your insights, and poetry doesn't even have to be, stuff like something like comedy could be poetry, like the way you share a joke or something, could be poetic, so poetry really could be anything, but I'm definitely seeing something about your words and how you blend your words together, or how you write out different things is like really attracting an audience or attracting a crowd in this time. So getting into the written word is going to be beneficial, and also just speaking, like the way you speak, the poetic way that you speak, the art. It's kind of like no matter what, you're always an artist, and that's kind of the vibe that you're getting. Yeah, let's move on to finances. So one of the key things with your finances, which is this card right here, and then this card's the career card. One kind of key to your finances here with the people you spend the most time with shape who you are. This is quite interesting because I'm definitely seeing that like the crowds or the circles you run with is kind of determining your financial station. So for example, if you run with a specific type of elite crowd, right? Or people who have money, you might get money, like you might get more money or in these situations or with these people, like your finances might increase or you might get more benefactors from these kind of elite clientele or something like that. Now, if you're running in circles with people who, don't have as much money. This doesn't even just apply to finances. This just implies in general to the people you spend the most time with shape who you are. So if you're running around with people who are kind of like more rough around the edges, more violent, more destructive, I'm definitely seeing that can have an effect on your poetry, and your poetry might take a darker turn, basically, than it normally would. So basically, whoever you spend your time around with, you're going to be expressing that symbolic language of those people that you're spending time with. So you're going to probably be faced with a few choices of the types of people you're spending time with in this period, and it's going to affect your finances. So the people you decide to spend your time with, your finances will reflect that specific group that you choose to spend your time with. And then with peacemaker, I'm trying to think of actual careers that would involve being a peacemaker, but basically being a diplomat, being someone who kind of takes two sides of a situation, is able to reconcile them. There's something along those lines of basically careers in that nature in the next 6 months, or jobs in that nature. If you're looking for a little side hustle or something like maybe a translator, if you're trying to like translate for different people, anything where it could be in like a more like hostile environment or where you need to be very careful with the words that you say, this kind of job would be really good for you, because I'm definitely seeing you have that way with words. That with peacemaker, it's kind of like anything where it's like you're setting peace. And also with poet, it's interesting because you could have this ability to kind of use your words and your poetry to create peace in your environment. So something that could be inspiring to others is using your words to create peace, or using your language or writings to create peace, or something like that. For poet, for some of you, you could also be musicians, and you could actually speak poetry through songs that you write. So that's something else that's coming through. And so peacemaker is just indicating that the songs that you write in this time will feel extra peaceful and extra loving. Like, I cannot describe how vibey this group is. Like, this group is like lovey-dovey, like I'm feeling the vibe. And so if you're feeling these energies coming up in you, or you're just starting to feel the sprinkling of this type of vibe in yourself, you're definitely coming into it more and more the next 6 months. It's interesting because I feel like a lot of these things are going to have a long time settling effect on people. So patience right here is indicating that as lovey and vibey as you are, for some reason, you're not attracting a specific love interest. So patience also has to do with this peacemaker card, basically, where you're kind of in this vibe where you have to kind of be patient with people. That's part of the peacemaking process. And so part of the peacemaking process is patience. I'm seeing this hourglass too, and the time, and the fact that time is running out or something like that. There is this vibe that this kind of 6 months is kind of like a timer or a clock or something like that. And you're meant to just kind of enjoy it. You're meant to kind of enjoy and be poetic and make a good impression and kind of be with the right people, or be with the people that you feel the best with, because those people are going to be shaping who you are. So who you choose as your friends is going to be really, really important in this next 6 months. With patience, I'm just seeing that feelings of love, as far as like deep, intimate connections are concerned, or deep, intimate sharing, might be few and far between. Like people might be really relating to you and really admiring you, but I definitely see you're going to get a different kind of love than you expect with new love over here. It says, embrace an opportunity for love in your work, prospects for spiritual growth. You're going to be receiving a different kind of love. I'm seeing this woman catching stars out of the sky. And so there's this element of like, you have star power, right? You have this star power that's coming up in the next 6 months. And something about new love coming in is normally how you typically receive love, you won't be receiving love like that. So just a quick example, like the 5 love languages. Like if you're used to receiving gifts, from people, then you're going to be getting more words of affirmation. Or if you're used to receiving quality time with people, you're going to be getting more gifts. So you might find people are, for example, the second example, you might find people are more busy and they can't spend as much time with you, but because of the creations you're writing, maybe they see your poetry on Instagram or they see a song you posted on the internet or something like that. They're like, oh man, I want to give them a gift, or I want to help them out, or like, man, I forgot that I owe them for this thing that they paid for me a while ago. And so you might be getting repaid loans or something like that. Just different ways of being shown love. In my other example, where if you are, normally you get gifts, maybe people are just constantly lavishing you with presents all the time, and that's how you normally are used to receiving love from others. Words of affirmation might be really important instead. So people might be saying, instead of buying you gifts, they might be saying the most beautiful, wonderful things about you. Like your reputation might increase. This is like, the sky's really the limit with this pile for the next 6 months. I just see a lot of pleasant vibes, like a lot of pleasant energy, basically. Like there's just something so peaceful about this group, man. And I'm feeling it, like, oh my gosh, this is a fun reading because I'm like really vibing off that energy that the reading is giving me. And it's like, it's just infectious, I guess you could say. It's very beautiful. It's like very peaceful and harmonious. It's just wonderful. I think that about covers it for the cards. Actually, let me see if I see anything else. Maybe I can see one more thing or two. I think that's about it. And now I'm going to get into the next 6 months ahead. So part 2 of the reading. So see you there. Hey group 2, welcome to part 2 of your reading. If you picked the pink Tourmaline, let's get into it. I have the Tea Leaf Oracle cards already laid out, and now we're going to draw some tarot cards for this group. I didn't take reversals in the tarot cards for the first group, so I'm not going to take them for the second group, probably for the other groups too, unless I feel really called to. But yeah, let's get into your reading. We'll shuffle these on camera, and then we'll flip over all your cards and see what you got and start doing this thing. We have this card wants to come out right there. And see if there's any others. This card wants to come here. I'm going to draw the other ones. This card feels a little shaky. Group month 1 feels a little shaky, so it might be a breaking in period or something. But let's get into it. Let's flip over your cards. So the first Tea Leaf Oracle card, we have Wishbone, a wish is granted, with 10 of Cups. Interesting. We also have Valley, deep personal strength and peace that assures success, and 4 of Pentacles. Then we have Finger, warning you of a problem either now or in the near future, with the Hermit. And Fly, a period of ill health or depression, month 4, with the 8 of Pentacles. And we have Elephant, a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end, with the Hierophant. And the Whale, great worry over nothing, with the 9 of Cups. Wow. You guys in group 2 are coming into an incredibly blessed time. We have a little issue here in month 4, but other than that, it's looking really good for you guys. This card came out kind of shaky, this 10 of Cups card, so I want to cover that feeling that I got with this card. So let's start with month 1. With Wishbone, a wish is granted, and the 10 of Cups, some kind of wish about your family situation or your home life is going to be granted to you. So for example, if you don't have like a family or you're pretty isolated or something, this is going to be a situation where you're with kind of like your close friend or a close friend that you have, or a situation about your home kind of situation. But with a wish is granted, it's going to make you feel very happy, and it's going to be a blessing to your family. It's going to be a blessing to your home life. It's interesting. Wishbones are reminding me of how when you pull a wishbone apart, one person's the loser and one person's the winner of the wishbone. But it's interesting because I'm definitely seeing that there might be a situation where you feel a little uneasy because it's almost like you might be it's not like you're the loser. It's that you might be the loser or they might be the loser. It's a wish fulfilled that might not exactly hurt someone else, but someone else might feel left out, right? But at the same time, I definitely see that this energy right here in the Ten of Cups is mitigating that tendency, basically saying that like it's going to be all well and good. It's all going to be really like wonderful, basically. Yeah, with with the Ten of Cups here, it's like a completion. So this is kind of like a completion or a chapter closing of one period of your life. And it might be a little shaky moving into the second period, moving into this poetic energy that you're starting to feel. And so with a wishes granted, this is just indicating that your family is going to be a big support in this time, a big healing influence as you transfer yourself into this next period of your life. You know, they're going to be a really strong structure, steady, secure structure that you can rely on. I wonder what this wish is. You guys must be, I mean, maybe you would know more than me, but you have some kind of wish coming true in the next month. Very soon, actually, in the next month, basically. So I'm really excited for you guys to see what that is. In month 2, we have deep personal strength and peace that assure success, and the Four of Pentacles. So I'm definitely seeing something of a little bit more of a frugal nature kind of in month 2. And one of the things I'm also noticing too is like with the Four of Pentacles, it's like he's like kind of closed up. He almost looks like a rock, or he's holding these pentacles tightly. You know, there's kind of like an aspect of strength in this card in a sense. And I'm definitely seeing that reflected here with the Valley. Deep personal strength and peace that ensures success. There's something about you have a brilliant way now of managing your money or something like that, and you're able to rake in more money because of it. Again, this sun right here is rising. I'm seeing it as rising over this valley. I don't know if you see that, but there's like a red sun in the background. And so because it's red, it reminds me of the root chakra. I definitely see you kind of rising up from this kind of slumber that you've been in. And so with the wish fulfilled, I definitely see this incubation period with the family. You know, there's kind of an idea of like youth and old age kind of incorporated into this group for some reason. There's kind of like an incubation period with your family where your wish is fulfilled and you're like sharing it with them and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this is a thing that's going on. And your family's just like kind of, you know, walking you through it or talking you through it. Could be something in the family too. Like with this card, there could be a birth of a child or something like that. There could be, if someone's been wanting a child and the family finally gets a child or something like that. There could be some kind of positive thing happening in the first month. But with the sun rising, it's just the beginning, right? It's just the beginning. And basically this strong structure, this strong security, you kind of take it on in this month 2, and I definitely see you being very frugal with kind of like your money, frugal with your finances, and that's a really good thing because I definitely see that's bringing you some deep personal strength. The fact that you have control over it, you have control over what you're spending and what you're doing and how you're using that money for yourself, right? You might still feel a little more isolated in this period of time. But with deep personal strength and peace that assures success, you guys have got it covered. I mean, there's not much that I feel like I need to even like tell you in this reading, really. With Finger warning you of a problem either now or in the near future in the Hermit card, I'm definitely seeing you as the Hermit, and in this way, like, I'm seeing you shining the light on other people's lives. This is where I see you actually, it's funny because this is where I see you being isolated, but the Hermit is where I see you kind of stepping out of your comfort zone and into the world, and kind of with that peacemaker vibe that we saw in the part 1 of your reading. This is kind of that vibe for me with the Hermit card. It's like you're shining that light, and with warning you of a problem either now or in the future, I see you really being able to show people the way of specific issues in their lives and kind of show them like, hey, you know what? That's going to develop into something. Or, hey, you know what? That's going to develop into that. You got to watch out for that. You got to watch out for that. You know, or even with like being peacemakers with someone, you might tell one party like, hey, this party is kind of into this thing, you know, they're kind of like that, they like this kind of interest, so keep an eye out for that. And you might tell the other party like, this party, you know, maybe has like they get offended easily or something. And so they know to like watch their words or something like that. There's something, the peacemaking vibe is coming through here. And really, if you get a career in peacemaking, this would be the perfect time, especially with a wishes granted and this new kind of energy coming in with being assured success in this moment. Any kind of career in the peacemaking fields that you're going for, I think you're going to get a lot of success in getting this kind of career. And take it as broadly as you want. Like, for example, even my career with tarot reading could be considered peacemaking, because you're like helping people understand things and you're also showing them different things, you know. So that could be considered peacemaking. So any kind of career that could be considered peacemaking, you know. I'm trying to think of other careers that, even like a lawyer could be considered peacemaking if you're, you know, doing it for the right reasons and everything. So it's like, kind of like, I know I use lawyer a lot in these examples. I saw someone comment that about their lawyer, which I thought was funny. Anyway, so, but yeah, so basically being a peacemaker in any kind of field as it would apply to kind of like diplomacy, you know, HR would be a good situation for being a peacemaker or something like that, human resources and stuff like that. But basically you're being able to point out problems in the future. You're almost like a strategist in a way. I'm seeing with this finger, you're kind of like, okay, that's not going to work. You got to change that, or that's not going to be that way. You got to do that, you know? And so I'm definitely seeing that you have this ability to shine the light of your own wisdom, your own experience on the world. And this is where that poet energy is also coming in. You know, this is where kind of like you get that kind of vibe, that lovely, lighthearted kind of vibe, you know? This strong, like rose quartz, pink tourmaline, like very lovey energy is coming in on how you express and show love to the world. I think whatever it is that is in month 1 of your reading, it's like it catalyzes this love in you and this strong, like even this guy, like he's kind of has that pentacle, the middle pentacle right there is kind of over his heart chakra. So I'm definitely seeing like, you know, holding on to this love that you get with your family, holding on to this beautiful wish, this beautiful energy, and holding it within, and then sharing it at the right time with the world when you know, it's time to, you know. This also might be the time where you're sharing advice with different groups of people, and you might be looking for your people. You might be looking for your tribe. Who is it that I want to be giving this advice to? Who is it that I want to kind of be associating myself with? Like we saw with your card, about, you know, your finances being determined by the people you hang out with. It's like, who do I want to put myself around? You know, who do I want to share my wisdom and my knowledge with? Wisdom with the Hermit card. I definitely see in month 4, you might be a little burnt out from month 3. I'm definitely seeing that with a period of ill health or depression, you might be doing the same activities as in month 4, but this is where there's a little dip, right? Like you had this peaceful, loving energy and you probably still have it. It's just that it dips into this kind of somewhat melancholic vibe, right? Where you're kind of just sludging through, you know, like I'm definitely seeing this guy, and with the period of ill health included in this, just kind of sludging through, making one after the other, doing one after the other, you know, building up. And so it's a good time to like get into a routine and do work like that. That's a routinized work, but don't expect to do any kind of like creativity or anything new or different or innovative in this period of time. Month 4 is all about like nursing your kind of mild depression that you have, making yourself feel better, and also going through that routine, going through that pattern of like, do this one, check that off the list, do this next one, check that off the list, do this next one. So I'm definitely seeing kind of like more sluggishness or something in this period of time. And sluggishness is the wrong word. It's just that it's like, you have low energy for a lot of areas of your life. So you just have to, this area where you have a responsibility, you just have to kind of keep pushing through it as time goes on. Month 5 is interesting with the Elephant card. We have a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. This is the thing. I feel like with this month 4, it's not all for naught. It's not just you're depressed and you're working your body up. What's that phrase? You're not like you're just working to the bone, right? What's going on is like you're building your knowledge, every single one of these pentacles that you build in month 4. And by the end of it, by the time you get to month 5, you're going to realize like, wow, I have so much wisdom, so much knowledge about all these situations or all these people I've helped or all these people I've kind of, how do I put this? I've spoken to or given advice to or said something to, you know? I definitely see at this period of time, you might be just with the poet card, with the writing and stuff, you might be just churning out poetry after poetry or churning out song after song, you know? And I definitely see that it's relating to the group that you're vibing with, but it just feels kind of like less inspired and more like work in this period of time. However, that kind of vibe of like the feedback you get from people, and also the fact that this kind of vibe of like churning out that work creates this like sense of a long journey, right? Like this was a long journey. You started as this hermit, right? And went to this 8 of Pentacles, and now you're at the Hierophant, right? Now, the long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. I'm definitely seeing with this Hierophant, you might become some kind of figure, or almost like religious figure, or someone who kind of brings different groups of people together. And that's really where the peacemaker energy comes in full circle. Because I'm definitely saying that you might actually be able to take one group of people and mix it with another group of people and be really successful in bringing those two groups together. This is the kind of vibe of someone who builds groups until they're bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is just a mammoth kind of project, or a mammoth kind of undertaking. We also have the elephant and the whale indicating like big ideas, big thoughts, big expansion, you know? This is kind of something that's going to be pretty wild. It seems like, and also, like, this is the thing, like, it could just be mammoth peacemaking abilities. Like, maybe you take two people who people would never thought would get along, and you introduce them, and somehow they're like the best of chum. They're the best of friends. They vibe with you. They vibe with each other. It's just a really good group environment. I just seeing because of these bigger like animals and stuff, and with the Hierophant here, and also the 9 of Cups, I'm seeing more bigger groups, like maybe you being the chairperson of a specific group or something like that, or something along those lines. And with the Hierophant being like a leader over those people, or like a spiritual leader over those people. So you might not have like an exactly like practical, more managerial sense, but you might be more of a spiritual kind of advocate, spiritual leader, or someone along those lines. Even back to your family and stuff like this, you might be a spiritual leader for your family. You know, that's something that's coming through. But the Hierophant usually represents society outside of the home, and kind of as you incorporate with society and like integrating with those values. So I'm definitely saying that this long journey gets you to integrate with those types of values, bringing your own sense of perspective into the group mindset and really integrating that, you know? I think it's going to make you very wise, very intelligent. Even with the Hermit here, this is also a sign about wisdom. So this journey is kind of like, it's a beautiful journey, because I feel like your wisdom is going to be present throughout the whole thing, but you also get to be at this position where you're also the wise one, but you also get to learn all these facts and things about people. And also that's creating the wisdom, right? Because the poet is describing life in symbolic language, right? So you're kind of taking and synthesizing these experiences from others and bringing them out into this symbolic written word, or whatever product you're producing, music, art, anything like that, and kind of creating like a little niche with this group of people. With Whale, great worry over nothing. This is where it's kind of interesting, because I feel like you get kind of, with the Whale card, this is all about the subconscious and stuff. You might just in general in this period have kind of like, it might be a slower period in month 6. And so there might be this vibe of like with the Whale here, it might be one of those things where you might be feeling sluggish, like you're moving and you've got this mammoth thing going and you're a part of this big thing, but it might be slowing down. Things might be slowing down as far as like the work that you had here, but I feel like you're inspired still. And with great worry over nothing, you're worried that, oh my gosh, it's slowing down. Like, what's going to happen? Is it going to go away? You know, is it going to, not be here anymore? You know, with these water, I definitely see it's kind of like slippery, you know? But with the thing is, it's such a big project. You have such momentum. I really highly doubt that, just from my personal opinion on the matter. And also with 9 of Cups, we're getting a little answer as how to fix that. So in month 6, if you feel like things are slowing down, practicing gratitude, and like, look at this guy. He has all these cups and he's content and happy, and he's sitting on that bench and all these cups are behind him. So you just kind of have to realize how lucky you are, basically, and how happy you are, and that's going to bring in more and stoke the fires, basically, of this kind of beautiful journey that you're on. I'm definitely seeing that being grateful, being thankful is going to really help more wishes come in, and you're going to have more wishes granted, I'm pretty sure, in the next coming time period. But man, this time period, I will tell you, like, is looking really, really good. Month 4, you might have some depression, feel like you're kind of going through the routine, you know, day in, day out, just kind of doing the same thing again and again and again. And that might get a little depressing, but I'm definitely seeing like overall, like this is such a positive journey and you had such positive energy in part one. So I'm just like really thankful to read for you guys. And I'm really happy for you that you're going to get this kind of blessed time period coming up. So kudos to you. You know, happy days. And if you enjoyed this reading, please like or comment below. That's going to be the end of the reading, by the way. And if you really like this reading, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. With that said, we're going to move on to the third group with the blue lace agate. Thank you guys so much again for letting me read for you. It was really a pleasure. Hello, group 2. Oh, this is 3. Sorry, group 3. Hello, group 3. This is if you picked the blue lace agate. Sorry if my voice is a little different. I just ate a salad. So, yeah, let's get into your reading. This reading is divided into 2 parts. We have part 1 with the personality, career, and love in the month, the general overview of those things in the month. And then we have part 2, which we're going to go month by month. We're going to go each month and get information about each month. So a lot to cover in today's reading. Let's start with the cards of your personality. Let's get a card for group 3's personality changes in the next 6 months. How will your personality evolve? What are some things to look for? What are some general themes of the month? Let's see, we have this one wanted to flip out. We have Don Juan. I'm going to pull some cards for finance now. This card will be just about your general money in general, and then we're going to pull another card for job-related type energy coming through for you. So this card will be general finances. What general financial advice? Okay, we have gift. Now we need a career card for group 3. What general kind of career vibe do they have? Let's do a quick shuffle. Well, that shuffle failed. Wow, what does that say? Okay, let's just draw one. And we have laborer. This is not necessarily saying you'll be a laborer. This is just saying this is what vibe, work energy vibe you're going to have in this next 6 months. Then we're going to get a love story oracle card. We have rejection. Wow. And then we're going to get a Whispers of Love card to represent how people are showing you love during this period, this 6-month period. This flew right over to Gift and Don Juan, so they're probably linked. And it says, have patient, love is patient and kind always. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing some interesting things right off the bat. I'm not seeing too many things with these cards over here, but I think as I get into the reading, the information will come to me. So with Don Juan, it says, spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. So let's just put it this way. You will be having sex appeal in the next 6 months. Like, you have something seductive about you, and it kind of radiates. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, and it's almost like you know it in the next 6 months. Like, you're aware of it. You're kind of aware that you kind of have this kind of vibe about you, and like people are just kind of drawn to you. So it's quite interesting how it applies also to labor, because we see in the career field or the work-related field, you're taking it very, very seriously, right? Labor is a card where it's like, you take it seriously, you're definitely willing to put in the work, right? You're definitely willing to put in the work. And so you have this ability to want to work in the next 6 months. Like you have this kind of like, a gun-ho attitude, like ready to work, ready to get the job done, ready to do my due diligence. Like, what do I have to do, you know? So on one hand, you're very loyal and like dutiful in that work element. And I'm also saying that can be a seductive quality to some people. So that's one of those things where it's like just your nature in general is going to be seeming seductive. So it might not be in the typical way you might think someone seduces someone. Like you might not go up to be someone and be like, hey, good looking, what's cooking? You know, like it's not going to be like that. It's going to be like you just giving off this kind of aura, this kind of vibe that you're seductive, you're attractive, you're in power. You know, you're the bee's knees, basically. And I definitely see a lot of this comes from your willingness to want to get your hands dirty, you know, your willingness to want to work hard. So this is interesting because we're seeing rejection over here. And at first when I saw this, I was like, they're not going to get rejected. Look at this card, this Don Juan card. This is like the card where it attracts people to you, you know? And then I was like, okay, that's what it means. It's like, and especially with the way the cards are operating, right? Where on your hand, we have the burnout match. On their hand, we have the spark, indicating that they're the ones that are kind of intrigued by you. But on your end, you're feeling a little burnt out from romance. So when you came to this reading, if you're like, okay, just what I need, more seductive, you know, just what I need to be seductive because I don't really need that right now in my life or something like that. That's kind of the vibe that's coming for you for the next 6 months. It's like, you're going to have this ability to kind of seduce people. I'm seeing in an unconventional way, not the typical way that you see on like TV or movies or stuff like that. And definitely people are attracted to you because you have the willingness to put in the work. And that's kind of something that is going noticed by people around you in your job and your employers and all that kind of stuff. You have the energy and the willingness to put in the work and get your hands dirty, basically. This is also attracting a lot of gifts, right? This literally says in the second one, you could get a cash bonus at work. And I want to call that out because I definitely think for some of you, that's a definite possibility. And yeah, I definitely think that you're ready to get your hands dirty. You know, if you have a specific field of interest you're thinking of going into or a career you're going into, now would be a good time to like get in there and like get working on it. You know, this also talks about talents and exploring those talents. So I'm definitely seeing something along the lines of like, maybe you have some kind of activity you want to get into, you want to start doing, and this next 6 months is the time where you're like actually going to be doing it. You're actually going to be putting in the work to do it. Or you're actually the willingness to put in the work to do it. You're like craving that willingness to work, basically. And with gift, you could be receiving a lot of gifts from other people, like a lot of freebies at restaurants or little coffee shops or something like that. Or you might get, you might just receive a lot of gifts. A loved one might bring you a gift or something from, you know, the store. Like maybe they bought you like, you know, the one thing I'm thinking of right now is maybe they get you a gift for your dog. That's just coming through for some of you, is that maybe they buy you like dog treats for your dog. They're like, hey, I know your dog likes these dog treats. So it might be like an inadvertent gift. They're maybe like trying to tell you that they want to show appreciation to you, but they're like secretly using your dog to like get close to you or something like that. I know that's like a really like obscure reference. So take that as it resonates. If it's not resonating for you, then leave that as it is. And also with this rejection card, I'm definitely seeing there's some elements where, yeah, people are attracted to you in this period of time, but I don't think they're coming for you. That's the thing. Like with have patience, love is patient and kind always. I see a lot of these people that are really drawn to you as being really, really patient. Like they might wait for their turn for this whole 6 months. You might have a lot of admirers that kind of are keeping their like eyes on you, basically. And they're kind of waiting for when you're ready for a commitment. You know, they're kind of waiting in the, on the bench, ready to get into the game. You know, they're kind of like, just waiting for you to kind of be open to that, because with this rejection card, I'm seeing this is kind of your love story message here, is it's like you're not ready to date, as what I'm seeing, or you're in this next 6 months, you're like not thinking about it, you're more focused on this passion, getting into this working vibe. And so with this rejection card, I'm just seeing like a general attitude of like, you're being like looked at, or you're attractive, right? There's these people who admire you. Might get asked out a few times, and then if you tell someone like, this is not the right time for me, I'm not looking for a relationship, like maybe in a few months from now or something like that, then this is the type of vibe with the patience card where they're just going to have patience and wait for you. They're going to like be waiting for it, because I definitely see a lot of people are going to be attracted to you in the next 6 months. But it's interesting. It's either that, and if you're looking for a relationship, it's probably one of those things where a lot of these people are going to catch you off guard. They might not be your typical type or the typical type you go for, but this specific group of type of people are going to be attracted to you. And that's kind of like, can be intriguing, because I definitely see that like you're just not really ready for a relationship at this time. Like you're looking for, in the next 6 months, you're looking to get working, you're looking to get your hands dirty, that kind of thing. So you might be receiving gifts from some of these love interests, you might be receiving gifts from an employer, you might be receiving gifts from family. The gifts can really come from anywhere. I'm kind of seeing it separate from a lot of these other things. So yeah, that was part 1 of your reading. Let me see if I see anything else. I think that's about it for part 1. We're just getting a kind of general overview here. So I think I definitely want to get into part 2 now. So I will catch you in the next section of your reading. Hey, group 3. This is the second part of your reading. So let's get into it. I pre-drew the tea leaf oracle cards for the piles today, and I'm also not taking reversals. So this is the cards we're going to be using, this tarot deck. So I'm going to draw the tarot cards now, and then we'll get into the second half of your reading. Piles have somewhat different energies today, which is interesting. I'm having to do a lot of hard shuffles. Okay, let's see what comes up. Just a quick note, I saw the Magician on the bottom of the deck, so this might be a good time to manifest things in your life. Okay, let's see what you got. We didn't get any cards that flipped up right off the bat. Like flipped up upright when we were doing the cards. So let's get into and flip them up right now. Tea leaf, we have tree, affairs with your family. And then we have strength. For month 2, we have fan, romance, celebration, party. And we have 2 of swords. Then for month 3, we have throne, position of authority. And we have 4 of cups. Month 4, peace and harmony with justice. That's some good energy. And then we have bag, something important such as a new job or raise, with the 5 of cups upright. And then we have mountain, major challenge to overcome, with the 2 of wands upright. I'm seeing a lot of what we just covered in part 1 reflected in part 2, and so I'll get into that in a little bit. There's something interesting that's kind of random coming out compared to the rest of the reading, so I'm going to get into that. Month 1 is kind of separated from the rest of the months. Interestingly enough, with tree, affairs with your family, and the strength card, there's a message coming in that you're going to have to kind of rein in your family's enthusiasm. And this is coming for a lot of you. There might be someone in the home that has a really wild, kind of crazy nature that's kind of all over the place, or rebellious, or kind of just in general wild. Now, in some rare cases, this is going to be your group 3, this is going to be the people watching the reading, that you have kind of this wild, rebellious nature. But for most of you, I see it as someone like a family, like a brother or sister, or even like a parent or an aunt or an uncle or something like that. You have this thing with the strength card where you're gonna kind of be tested. Your strength is going to be tested by this family member, because I definitely see that there's going to be a little bit of drama in that period of time. Now, the good news is, with strength being here, it's indicating that you have the ability to tame this person, right? That not anyone else in your family can kind of get on their level and kind of, in a way, placate them, or kind of in a way, kind of make them, this family member will submit to you, but it might be a little bit of a conflict at first, is what I'm seeing. I'm definitely seeing that people who pick this pile, you're probably pretty tough. If it's you that has the wild nature, I definitely see someone in your family coming up to you and having a conversation with you about your nature and how you are being and how you are acting in the family, and kind of like talking to you about that. There's some kind of little form of little spat or little diplomatic thing going on with your family. That's in month 1. Month 2 is interesting because we have romance, celebration, and party. I'm definitely seeing you going out a lot in month 2, going and like hanging out with friends, hanging out with buddies, hanging out with, just chilling with the girls, whatever, basically there's like a whole, like a vibe of like just going out and partying basically, and having a good time. But it's interesting, we have romance, celebration, and party here. This is where a lot of the people who are going to be approaching you and kind of wanting to be in your vibe or in your aura, or the love interest. And with 2 of Swords here, we have this kind of indecision here where it's like there's just a lot of people approaching you, or if it's not a lot of people approaching you, there's just a lot of activity going on in your environment. There's a lot of options for romance, basically. And there's going to be an attitude, you're going to have this attitude of like a stalemate, basically, where you're kind of like, okay, I'm just overwhelmed. Like, I don't know what to pick. I don't know any options. Like with the blindfold here, it's like you're blind to it. It's like you can't even start to comprehend how to begin sifting through the dating pool. This is kind of the vibe of like, and I'll get to those of you who are in a relationship in a second. This is kind of the vibe of like being so overwhelmed by the debauchery of what's going on around you that you can't like make any kind of decision. So you're in a way like there's so much activity around you that it's like you just need things to be peace and quiet. That's what the 2 of Swords kind of calls to like ask you to do. And this is something that is interesting because I definitely see that this is kind of like a back and forth in a sense. It's like you're meant to go out and have fun, party, have these romantic either flings or things with people. But at the same time, with the 2 of Swords here, it's kind of indicating that you do want to spend some time in peace and quiet and solitude to kind of reorient your direction in life. Just take some time out and kind of, this is 2 of Swords can be about weighing the pros and cons, making a choice, making a decision, but really tuning into your intuition. With the ocean here in the background, being by a body of water or being out in nature and listening to the wind, the swords being the element of air, is going to be really beneficial for you in this period of time. Outdoors at night is going to be beneficial as well. And it's interesting with the white dress here, I'm getting the vibe of like, you're feeling like, okay, well, all these people want me, but like the white dress kind of reminds me of like being virginal or like, untainted basically. And I'm definitely seeing you being like, okay, I'm not going to like get involved in this. Like, I'm going to keep my vessel pure. I'm going to keep myself a certain way, and not get involved in these little affairs or these kinds of things. For those of you who are in a relationship right now, I'm definitely saying you're going to have a lot of people who are trying to tempt you away from your current partner. And that could be anything from like a little wink when you're out with another person or something, or a little smirk or something like that. Or people might actually try to hit on you when your partner's away from them. So this is a good time to kind of, if you don't want to get hit on, to take your partner out with you in like public places and stuff, and like go out and go on little like romantic trips with them or whatever, with celebration and party, like going out and doing your typical activities. When you're going out and stuff, like take your partner with you, because I'm definitely seeing you're trying to like look at this woman. She's like blocking off any attempt towards her. She's like has these swords and she's like, don't even come near me. Like I'm definitely getting that vibe of like kind of keep putting up a defense, putting up a barrier, especially what we talked about earlier. It's just this is kind of month 2 is when this is kind of coming into play. With month 3, position of authority, I definitely see that with this turning down of these romantic opportunities, you're feeling a little bored or lethargic. You might even be feeling a little bit bored or lethargic in your current relationship as well. But with position of authority, it's interesting. You're going to be receiving this position of authority, most likely in your career, but it could be in any area where there's a certain amount of responsibility given to you, right? And you're going to be in charge of people below you. It's interesting. I'm seeing something about ranking coming in. Like you might have like a specific rank or something that you're trying to achieve, and you're like achieving that rank in month 3, or you're achieving that position in month 3. I also see with position of authority, people are going to be more inclined to listen to you. So if you're not really achieving a position of authority as a managerial position over people, people are going to be really inclined to listening to you. So it's like you're going to have the authority to speak and say things, and people are going to be like, oh, whoa, that's really smart. That's really wise. You know, I definitely see with this 4 of Cups energy still appearing here, you're still turning down romantic offers into month 3, and I definitely see that kind of vibe of like wanting to get to work is kind of coming in month 3 with that position of authority. Some kind of job you have where you have kind of the wherewithal to make a mark on the world is coming into play in month 3, and I'm definitely seeing that you're just going to really love it. Like you're really going to take to it. You're really going to accept it very well. The only thing that's going to be annoying is these people kind of flinging themselves at you. But this position of authority is what's creating that Dawn Wand card that we saw in part 1 of your reading, which is creating that vibe of like attraction that people are just drawn to, you know? It's even, people are even drawn to it a little bit before here. It's like, it's like the relationships are kind of precogging the, you know, month 3 basically. But yeah, you're just kind of like the bee's knees with position of authority with throne. You're basically royalty in month 3. And that's kind of like one of the beautiful things about it. Royalty that's not afraid to get their hands dirty, not afraid to work hard, not afraid to like, you know, provide basically. With wind chimes, peace and harmony with justice here, it's quite interesting because I'm seeing that, you're going to have more of a peaceful attitude in month 4. With peace and harmony, it's like the vibes kind of gotten more peaceful. I feel like you're still working pretty hard, or you have that labor position or whatever that you got in month 3. But with the justice card here, things are rebalancing. The scales are rebalancing. I think a lot of those romantic flings or those superficial kind of romances that were coming your way are going to be fading away in this period of time. I think that this is where the people who are going to want to stay that we talked about in part 1, these are the people who are going to be really patient. With justice, I definitely think sometimes of patience. It comes right before the hangman. And so I'm definitely seeing that this is like the precursor to patience, right? So you might be having some beneficial relationships with people as far as new friendships, new people concerned, that they actually might secretly like you, but they're not going to make a move basically. But you're going to have a really harmonious time with these people. I definitely see also with work environments and like legal affairs, you might have peace and harmony. So if there's any kind of form or filing thing that you have to sign in month 4, I'm definitely seeing that it's going to go pretty well. It's going to go in your favor. Take that also with a grain of salt. I don't like to give legal or medical advice, but if something comes up in the cards, I will bring it up. But at the same time, take that with a grain of salt. Consult your professional or whatever, you know, that you need to consult for these kinds of things, you know. Just a little disclaimer. Yeah, so with justice, it's just about peace. I can see the truth being really important to you, like speaking the truth and being very truthful in this period of time being really important to you in month 4. In month 5, it's interesting. We have something important such as a new job or a raise. With bag, it's interesting because I definitely see that because you're in this position of authority right here and you are doing so well in it, and you're creating all this harmony in month 4, someone wants to give you a raise, or they want to give you a new position or a new job, or a new job opportunity is going to arise. I definitely see it's going to be somewhat of a disappointment with the 5 of Cups right here, just because you really enjoyed this previous position and you really wanted this previous position for so long. And so now this second job is coming in. It's like, you know, you almost don't want the second job. So there's going to be kind of like an aspect of, you're going to have to kind of make a decision on whether or not you want to kind of like take this job. I'm saying that you're kind of looking at this job negatively, but with the 2 of Cups behind this guy, this could be an important job. This could be a job that you might think about later down the line. Like if you accepted it now, in a few months from now or a year from now, you might actually enjoy this position that you're being offered. So that's something to consider. You're just kind of seeing the negative side of this position in month 5. Either way, I think this month 6 is talking about if you take this job, or it could be energy from this previous position with this position of authority. Yeah, it's just with month 3, just real quick, people are going to be listening to you. I think that you have that kind of authoritative tone to your voice and that ability to kind of captivate others and get people to listen, basically. Anyway, back to month 6, after this kind of job opportunity gets presented, major challenge to overcome, and the 2 of Wands basically means you're preparing for an epic journey. You're preparing for an epic challenge, something really big that you want to accomplish. In the physical realms, this could be something like prepping for a marathon, or this could be like entering a tournament and preparing for a tournament. I'm seeing with the wand energy, it's something very physical. Maybe with mountain, it's something about you wanting to overcome some specific challenge, and you're like really prepping ahead of time. Like the two of wands is all about planning and foresight. And with the world card, I'm seeing like a map or a journey or a physical distance to travel. This could be, on another hand, like mapping out a journey or mapping a journey that has major challenges, and you're like preparing for that journey. This could be even like, maybe you're thinking of moving to another country or moving areas. Like maybe this new job brings in a new thing. It's going to be different for a lot of you, but this new job or something brings an opportunity to move to a new country or something like that. And so you have all these new major challenges to overcome as far as moving. And so you're planning that trip right in here. It could be that turning down this job is making it so maybe you needed the money for this job, but you decided to turn it down because you're not interested in it. So then you have to discover like financial aspects, like what is the next journey you're going to make more money or get more aspects of finances in that regard. Very cool. I think I'm gonna end the reading there. I really enjoyed reading for this group. You guys have a very tough, like determined kind of quality about you that I like. Yeah, if you like this reading, please like or comment below. If you really enjoyed this reading, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I post pick-a cards like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. With that said, we're going to move on to our last group, group 4, with the pink or tangerine quartz. Hey, group 4, this is if you picked the tangerine quartz. So let's get into your reading. This reading is going to have 2 parts. We're going to have part 1 covering your personality, finances, and love, the general overview of the 6 months. And then part 2, we're going to have all the 6 months, month by month, going into the future. Okay, so let's get a personality card for you guys to see what... Really a hard shuffle for this group. So let's get we have 2 cards coming out. We have Rebel and Queen. Now we're going to pull a finance card for you guys. We have Unexpected. We're going to get a career card for you guys. This card just represents kind of like the general career that like the energies of the next 6 months you'd be good at. So you don't have to do this kind of energy, but this is going to just help me determine in the reading what kind of vibe, work vibe you have going on. And we have Mechanic. So yeah, for example, you guys might not like be mechanics or going into a field with like being mechanics, but this is going to have an overall influence on the types of jobs that you might be like it's going to give a little flair to that aspect of the kind of vibe, the career vibe for the next 6 months. For your love story card, we have Spy. And for your whispers of love, this is how others are showing love to you. We have, be supportive, make a genuine effort to show you care. Hey guys, you'll have to excuse me. When I started this pile, I just started getting a little dizzy out of nowhere. So I'm going to go ground myself real quick, and I'm going to come back to this pile and I'm going to read with a clearer head. So yeah, give me 1 second and I'll be back in that second. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. I got really lightheaded before this pile, and sometimes when I do readings in general, I can get kind of lightheaded the longer I go at it. And I just need to eat some food and like ground myself. But yeah, so I just did that. Just got back from my little dinner. Yeah, let's get into the reading. So first we have Rebel and Queen, which is giving me like two-sided vibes. First of all, it's giving me the sign that you're coming into this next 6 months of a period of royalty, or kind of being in a period of like empowerment, basically. Like you're coming into a sense of being empowered. And at the same time, we have Rebel here. So you could actually be breaking away from someone else who is kind of like a dominating authority figure in your life, basically. So it's interesting. On the one hand, we have you breaking away, and on the other hand, we have you rising in your own position of power, right? The one thing that's, because these cards are coming out together, the one thing you just want to be wary of is not becoming the authority figure that once had like wielded authority over you, basically. Like, don't become the same authority figure that you had to escape from, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. So you want to kind of make sure that your empowerment is kind of kept for yourself and for others, and to heal others, basically, rather than you know, kind of becoming an authority over them. I'm not really seeing that in the cards. I'm just seeing a general sense of rebelling from an authority and then becoming your own sense of authority, basically. And with the Queen card, this is like the divine feminine. This is the regal feminine. So even if you're male watching this, you're going to get in touch with your feminine nature and kind of your ability to kind of have like, I'm definitely seeing something with beauty coming to mind. Like, I'm definitely seeing you guys having like starting up a different beauty routine or something like that, or having a sense of your own beauty, or rediscovering a sense of what makes you beautiful, basically. And with Rebel, it says challenges authority to affect social change. It says reject spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. You might actually be rebelling against a particular spiritual system as well. That's going to be for some of you, that you might actually be rebelling from a spiritual or religious system that your parents had, or some kind of spiritual religious system that society has, and you're actually rebelling against it. It's interesting, we have the card Unexpected, and this card does talk about financial loss in the next 6 months. But at the same time, it's not only just financial loss, it's just financial, kind of like a disproportionate equilibrium, I guess you could say. So for example, it's basically like, if you think you'll have money in a particular time, you probably won't. If you think you won't have money in a particular time, you probably will. It's like it's basically going to be something unexpected with your finances is coming on the horizon. And it's like you won't be able to plan for it, because as soon as you start to plan for it, something else different happens or something like that. And so your finances are kind of going through this up and down period where you can't really, it's like you're on the wave, right? You're riding the wave, basically. Something that's going to help you in this time period with Mechanic is getting in touch with technical skills or technical abilities. Even though you're going to be getting in touch with your divine feminine and your kind of receptive nature and your yin nature, it's interesting. With the Mechanic card here, it's talking about getting in touch with your technical abilities, things that kind of, you know, our like ability to fix a computer, or ability to fix a car, or something like that. Something about how things work is going to be really important. So you might be in a good position to learn about how something works. So this could be, for example, if you're trying to study astrology or something like that, or you're trying to learn how the stars operate and stuff, figuring out the technical aspects of how the charts work and stuff like that. I'm definitely seeing with Mechanic that could be something that is very beneficial to you at this time. Anything with little technical algorithm, moving parts, something like that. And like figuring out how different things are put together could be effective. Another aspect to this card, Mechanic, can also apply to relationships, like with the Queen and the Rebel, kind of like overturning some kind of system or social structure. You might actually, with the Mechanic card, understand how those structures work, basically, and figure out that they're broken, right? Like, or this structure is like this and it's kind of broken, so I need to fix it, right? I'm also seeing with Rebel that you might actually not just overturn a specific religious or social institution or something like that, but you might be able to see its inner workings and offer pertinent suggestions for how to fix the system within that, group, I'm definitely seeing, it's interesting, I'm definitely seeing with Rebel and Queen here, there's a certain time to make these kind of moments of advice to others. With the Queen, you can think of the Queen being kind of like the king's right-hand woman, right? She's the one who kind of is whispering in his ear all the kind of extra stuff that he needs to do with the kingdom that he doesn't see, or he doesn't see that needs to get done, but it really does need to get done. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting for you with the Mechanic and your personality cards here. So what I was trying to say is you might not be just overturning the system, but you might be actually working with the system to rebuild it better and stronger than ever. Now, it's interesting because I see a lot of this as just humanitarian effort, like purely humanitarian in the sense that there's not going to be much of a pragmatic payout in this situation. Or for most of you, there won't be a pragmatic payout in this situation. It might bear fruit sometime down the line, but I'm seeing you just doing this out of the pure fact that you're just feeling like empowered and ready to do it. Like this is almost like a personal vendetta for you is what I'm seeing. It's very, how do I put it? You have personal beef with this system, basically. You have personal beef with what you're trying to rebel against, So the authority figure could be someone in that system, right? Like you could be displacing another queen, like some queen or authority figure over that system. You could be like coming in and being like, okay, well now I'm the queen, or I'm going to be the head of this situation, right? I'm coming out from under your authority and I'm coming at you in a more advisory position. I'm going to help you with this or something like that. There's kind of a leveling of the playing field that I'm getting right here. Now, interestingly enough, in love, I'm seeing with Spy, this kind of reminds me of social media, and specifically this is like almost like taking a photograph. I'm just seeing a lot of social media images in here. So with your love life or with love in general, you might be expressing and experiencing a lot of love through social media. This could also have an influence on the aspect of like what you're rebelling against could be like an internet type of thing or a construct of some kind of thing that's online or some kind of group that's online or something like that. But I'm definitely seeing you have this the ability to kind of like love on the internet more than in real life in this particular next 6 months. It's like real life is like dried up, the possibilities are not there, and it's like the internet is kind of providing the excitement for the next 6 months. With Be Supportive, make a genuine effort to show you care. I definitely think that people in your environment, this is kind of a perspective shift thing, because this card in this reading is representing how other people love you, right? So what I'm seeing here with Be Supportive is it's like, this is just saying that like, if you think that people aren't supporting you, you just have to look deeper into the situation. And this is kind of a tough love thing. And I'm sorry that I'm giving you guys this kind of like tough love vibe, but sometimes we have to hear it. It's like, sometimes it's our own perspective that gets in the way from seeing that other people are actually truly loving us. Because it says make a genuine effort to show you care. I'm definitely saying could be something that you've said to love partners or to people in your life or to your family. Like, you don't care enough, or maybe you say something along the lines of like, I feel like no one cares about me or something like that. But I'm just seeing that this is a perspective thing. And actually, if you look deeper, people around you are very, very supportive of you. So as soon as you start to see it, as soon as you start to get that perspective of like, oh, okay, I see it now, or I see that one. As soon as you see it once, I'm definitely seeing that like as it grows, you'll start to see it more and more. And instead of becoming this lack mindset of like, oh, people are never supporting me, or pointing out or noticing when they're not supporting you. That's the other thing too. I can see you kind of looking at certain situations and being like, well, they didn't help me in that situation. So, they didn't want to, they didn't want anything to do with me or something like that. With Be Supportive, it's like, there's moments where they are helping you, but you're not paying attention to those, right? You're only paying attention to the moments where they're not helping you. So this is just a perspective shift, and it's going to help draw in more love and more support in the long run by focusing on that positive. It's kind of like your classic manifestation argument that you see online where it's like, focus on the positive thoughts to, attract the positive. It's kind of one of those vibes just in this particular situation. It's basically like by seeing the things going right, you'll attract more of those things that are going right as far as receiving love. And definitely online, aside from just love, because I'm seeing this more from like family or friends or something like that, trying to get the support you need. Online, I see you being a little flirt, like I definitely see you like flirting with different people and getting kind of excited about that or sparking up different connections and stuff. So that's kind of exciting. Yeah, you're really coming into your own with Queen. And with the Divine Feminine, I'm seeing like something about beauty, like your beauty might be really important to you or something. Or when you become into this Queen energy, it's like all of a sudden you're taking like hotter pictures or you're putting yourself up. There's like there's somewhat of a like glow up or something along those lines. But it's interesting. I feel like just financially, I would not expect, I would just kind of play it even Steven in the next 6 months. Because financially, I'm not seeing like too many like things either going your way or not going your way. It's kind of just like a roller coaster and what you don't expect to happen, right? So just kind of keep that in mind financially, and then realize what you should be working on, or not what you should be working on, but the energy that like is going to be the most beneficial to use is your kind of mechanic energy of how systems work. How does this component go into this component? I know how this system works. And this could be human systems. Like I said, with the Rebel card, it could be you're overturning a human system. Yeah, so that was the end of part 1 of your reading. Part 2 is going to start in just a second, and we'll get into part 2 now. Hey, group 4, this is part 2 of your reading. So welcome aboard the ship of Tarot Truths. Okay, so I'm going to be shuffling tarot cards on camera today. I already drew the Tea Leaf Oracle cards. This, as you can see, this is going to go month by month of the 6 months ahead. So let's get into... Let's start shuffling the tarot cards. Let's see what needs to come up for the Tangerine Quartz group 4 energy. We have Ace of Wands for that position. We have 3 more cards. I'm going to pull them kind of like this. And we're going to get... This card wants to come out. I'm going to pull it for the first, and we just need 1 more card. Okay, so let's flip over our cards and see what you got. For the first month, we have Sorrow Over a Loss Wreath with Ace of Cups. Oh, you have so many aces in this. So many aces in every month. Wow. And then for month 2, we have Haystack. Karma, you will reap what you have sown. We have King of Wands. Oh, this is some cool energy. And then we have Money Path. A path with money is waiting for you to find it, with the 3 of Cups. And for month 4, we have Bear. Danger, especially in money matters, with Ace of Swords. And we have Hat. You will be playing a different role, with Ace of Wands. And then we have Hand. In need of help, assistance, and guidance, with the 3 of Swords. Okay, so the next 6 months is... kind of wild. We have a lot of that Rebel Queen energy starting in the first 2 or 3 months, and then it kind of, it's just kind of like a lot of different separate things, basically, like moving into the rest of the 6 months. So it's not really like an overall, like the rest of the groups where it's an overall picture of one specific journey for the rest of the months. It's kind of like a lot of different things happening, interspersed, basically, which are kind of interesting. So let's go with the first month real quick. So Wreath, Sorrow Over a Loss. It's interesting with Ace of Cups here. There's 2 things happening. Well, first of all, I'm going to point out all the aces. All the aces in your reading there's clouds, right? There's clouds coming and bringing in divine guidance through these different positions, right? There's different new beginnings happening in these different positions. And we also have clouds in the 3 of Swords card, even though the clouds are raining. So it's one of those things where it's like you are getting a lot of divine help, but the help, it's kind of like, it's interesting. It's like you were asking for specific help in the past, but you like kept asking and asking and asking. And now it's like all those requests are like backlogged or something, and they're all flying in all at once, basically. Now it's interesting because they're all, I feel like you've asked for contradictory things, or something like that, because I'm seeing that there's different things happening, that there's kind of like a blessing and there's like either a blessing and a curse, or a curse and a blessing. It's like it's kind of like bittersweet, right? With the Ace of Swords here, it's kind of double-edged. Your reading's kind of double-edged. So keep that in mind. Yeah, so with Wreath, sorrow over a loss, and Ace of Cups, I see that you're gonna have someone like, you're either gonna lose a friend or lose kind of, with the authority figure that I was seeing that you were under, I'm seeing sorrow over a loss is kind of like, it's almost bittersweet, because I see that this person who had authority over you was not just someone that you like hated or whatever, you wanted to like rebel against or something like that. It was literally someone that you loved and cared about. So like having to rebel against them and break away from them, I'm seeing it's very hard. With that sorrow over a loss, it's very difficult. And so I feel for you guys, but it looks like it's going to be, the breakaway is going to be better in the long run. You know, because you come into your own power. You kind of come into your own ability with this King of Wands in the second month of like power, authority, leadership, that kind of vibe. Now, it's interesting with month one, when you're kind of thinking of leaving this person, I'm seeing that with the Ace of Cups here, there could be either one or more new beginnings in love for you in this beginning of the month. I'm seeing that some kind of emotional, intuitive advice from a friend is something that's really going to help you make that final breakaway with this authority in your life, or this person in your life. Yeah, with the Ace of Cups here, I'm seeing you finding a lot of loving connections in this first month. Like just kind of finding people. With the dove here, it represents peace. So I'm just seeing you find a lot of peaceful connections. This is really helping you make that move, or giving you that courage to break away from this particular situation, you know? And I definitely see it's going to be sad. Like you have sorrow over a loss, you know? So I definitely see it's going to be somewhat sad. But by month two, you've really come into your authoritative energy. You've come into your King of Wands energy. This is just being ready and willing and ready to react to situations. And so karma, you will reap what you have sown, is kind of coming in to say, it's kind of like a reward in a sense, that you're being rewarded for kind of leaving this situation or this negative situation. But at the same time, karma, you will reap what you have sown. If you've had done any kind of negative things in the past or something like that, this is the time where they'll be coming to the forefront and you'll have to kind of deal with them. With King of Wands here, I see that you have the power and the authority and the energy to deal with these things. So if there was any kind of like drama or fallout with this authority figure or something like that, kind of whatever happened with that person, you're going to have to deal with that kind of stuff in month two. Month two is interesting because not only is this a card, it's almost like this is more the focus with this King of Wands. So you're definitely coming into a position of authority, of power, of your own regalness, basically. And basically, it's one of those interesting things because the Wands cards are in the desert, right? Like there's not much resources to work from, but somehow you've achieved this sense of mastery right off the bat coming out of this situation. So kudos to you. There's like a thing where you're kind of like become the master of this situation really quickly. Like within the first, by the second month, you kind of become this master of this situation, right? You're dealing with these little things, these little like leftover things in that situation, right? I see that with that kind of rebelling and going into the new group or the new system, it could definitely be a social system, because I definitely see you, what used to be kind of a desert land with the wands comes into this cup card. And I'm seeing you really find a group of friends or a group of solid people or work companions or whatever this situation is where you're breaking away from this person and becoming your authority and starting your own kind of queendom, right? With the queen card we had in part one. I'm definitely saying that you kind of excite and inspire all these different people, right? With a path for money is waiting for you to find it. It's interesting. I feel like a lot of these people are going to be focused on money. They're going to be focused on their own individual financial paths. And that's kind of something that bonds you together. But this group actually is actually like a transition group, right? Like you become this leader and you build this group by month 3, but this group is meant to be a transition group. It's meant to be a group that you like discuss things with in month 3, and then you actually leave for like more things on your path. Because what we see here is we have divine guidance in month 4. And this is where it gets interesting, because Bear says danger, especially in money matters. And I'm definitely seeing it's like you guys are having this party in the woods, but it's like you're in the woods, kind of like drinking honey or eating like or like eating chocolate or eating whatever like that bears like to eat. And basically you're like eating all this food in the woods, and you guys basically like if you look at all these women, they're drinking, right? And they're like drinking, like we'll just imagine honey, like we'll do a Winnie the Pooh example or something. Imagine there's like honey in these cups, right? And these women are just drinking and getting drunk off honey, and you're just enjoying it, and they're talking about money. They're like, oh, this money path, but it's kind of like they're very loud and boisterous. It's a very empowering energy in general, because you're coming out of this desert vibe and you're creating this environment right off the bat after breaking away from this person. Like I said, it's like boom, boom, boom. There's like it's like a very action-packed 6 months. And with the new path, money is waiting for you to find it. You're kind of all discussing these money sort of issues, but it's like, how do I put this? You're like discussing money related matters with people who aren't that good at dealing with money in general. And so that's kind of one thing that I'm saying, is that you guys are kind of just drinking this honey and kind of partying, and then this bear comes along and sniffs it. And that's kind of the money kind of issues coming into play here. So basically with danger, especially in money matters, with Ace of Swords, it's interesting because I'm seeing that like you're realizing this group of friends in month 4 is also, they're also kind of like irresponsible, or they don't take care of themselves on a financial level like you want to. And so I'm definitely seeing with Ace of Swords, this is kind of can be a card about cord cutting, and especially with the 3 of Swords here in the heart card, this can also indicate a card of cord cutting in my Light Seers deck. So with Ace of Swords, this is indicating divine protection by kind of cutting you off from these people. And with danger, especially in money matters, it's asking you to go inward and kind of focus on your clarity of thought. So you might be having a lot of epiphanies on like, in a way it's going to be very similar to group 1, because they had a lot of epiphanies in their kind of their money ideas, right? There's kind of like you're going to have a lot of new ideas and new inspirations for money, but with danger, especially in money matters, you're kind of being protected from this group. Yeah, so month 4 might be like separating from this group and kind of getting in tune with yourself, basically. With this crown here on the sword, I'm still thinking of your queendom. I still think you have your regal queen nature. You don't need these followers to be a queen. You know, you still have this kind of queen aspect to you. It's like the bear's kind of saying like it's trying to be smart, trying to build up your kingdom, right? When we get to month 5 with the hat card, you will be playing a different role with Ace of Wands. It's interesting because you have another divine inspiration right off the bat, right after the Ace of Swords inspiration. So you might be getting a lot of new ideas about money, new prospects about money, new things to do about money. And then the next month you're getting a like new burst of motivation, right? And with you will be playing a different role. This is where that unexpected card comes in about your finances, because a lot of it is unexpected in this month. For example, you think you're discussing really great, wise money plans with these people, then you realize they were bad and you had to cut them off. And then this month, when you get the energy, you realize those ideas that you had with the bear were just meant to recover from these people. And the Ace of Wands energy is like this new inspiration where you just feel empowered or shot up with energy to do a specific role, right? You will be playing a different role, means you'll be doing something than you did with these kinds of people. And you get this kind of King of Wands energy reflected back here in the Ace of Wands, where you're just energized to do something, right? And it's going to be something different than you expected. So there's that kind of job that comes into play, and you're like, whoa, I'm really into this job and I'm making money at this job, you know, or I'm really into this person, I'm doing things with this person. You know, this could also be playing a different role. This could be meeting new people as well. All I'm really seeing is that you're going to be doing something unexpected in month 5, and it's going to be really, really motivating. Ace of Wands can also indicate like sexuality to me. So this could be a time when you're exploring different types of people as far as like intimate partners go. I definitely see through the whole month, there was kind of a vibe of like internet kind of relationships and stuff like that. So I'm definitely seeing that you might be like, maybe there's some sexting or something like that in this 5th month or something like that. I see after doing this particular role, you're kind of like, in a sense, by month 6, you're a little tired, you're a little over all the changes, all the differences, all the different things going in and out of this situation, in with this situation, through that situation. You're just kind of tired of it all. And it's interesting because by month 6, it says in need of help, assistance, and guidance. This is some time when I feel like with the clouds or whatever, you might have one of those tired cries where it's like you've been working so hard, you've been all over the place, and you're just kind of like, you sit down and you just kind of cry, and you're not actually sad, you're not actually like upset, you're just having a tired cry. It's like you're just kind of exhausted. And so I definitely see some like energy of like needing to heal some things in this period of time. You know, the card that comes after the Three of Swords is the Four of Swords, which is the rest card. So I'm definitely seeing that this is kind of like one final thing before you decide to rest, but in need of help, assistance, and guidance. I'm seeing you working through some kind of psychological stuff, psychological issues here in month 6. This could be with a therapist, this could be with a friend, but there's also some things that are laid over from this beginning of the month with sorrow over that loss of that person. You're definitely working through those issues in month 6, and you're kind of discussing those with someone, and they're kind of giving you that helping hand, right? You're getting a lot of divine guidance. First of all, with the Ace of Cups, you're getting that divine guidance of those new connections coming in to give you that support you need to break away from this. With Ace of Swords, you're getting that divine guidance to cut you quickly off of this group of people that you built up, you know, and then Ace of Wands, that kind of like moving you in a different direction, kind of like reorienting you really quickly to playing a different role, right? There's a lot of unexpected things that are going to happen, and I'm calling out somewhat of the situation, but like, for example, it could be a little bit different than what I'm saying just because that unexpected in the finances card came up. So there could be a situation where with this 3 people right here, you find out that like, you know, maybe you go out with them and they're just like, they have really expensive tastes and you're like, I can't afford this or something like that. It could be anything with a path of money is waiting for you to find it. There's kind of like a journey you go on with this group of people. So keep that in mind. And with my original interpretation in part 1, that still applies. Like this group of people could be a system, or you're trying to reorganize this system. Like this group of people could be people left over from this kind of authority figure that you broke away from, and you kind of collected some people. Because with the haystack here, you're kind of dealing with those little, I call them drama points, like little moments of drama between people that you kind of have to patch up and fix to kind of get everyone on the same page or something like that. So that's where that kind of mechanic, knowing how social aspects work and groups would benefit you. Just overall, in general, a very like unexpected month, a lot of like twists and turns that you won't be expecting, a lot of surprises. I definitely feel like this could be a very fun month if you just kind of let go of the reins of control and like let everything flow to you, you know, because I'm definitely seeing you're definitely guided along the way. It's like certain moments of divine intervention are going to be playing out in this month, and they're going to be kind of protecting you along the way. So just keep an eye out for that. Don't fight the flow of what's going on in the next 6 months. Just roll with it. I definitely find you're going to have a fun time. You're going to enjoy it. And at the very end of it, you're going to have some beautiful healing from some issues that you probably didn't know you still had. And you're going to have this beautiful healing in need of help, assistance, and guidance. You're going to have this beautiful healing for your heart in month 6, kind of as the tail end of this 6-month period, kind of starting the next 6-month period in your life. Wow, what a very fun and like sporadic pile to read for. Like, I'm kind of excited for your guys' life. Like, a lot of this many ups and downs can be a lot of fun, actually, especially because I don't notice too many things that are like negative or detrimental. Like, there's a lot of empowerment in the first month. The only thing that I see that's kind of sad is this sorrow over a loss, right? That this might be referring to this Three of Swords healing card might be referring to this sorrow over this loss, because I definitely see that this person you're breaking away from, it's like you want to, it's like not like you like know you have to break away to become your own individual or become your own person, but at the same time, like they mean a lot to you. And I'm definitely seeing that is, kind of like they're important to you. So I definitely see you working through those issues in month 6, or other issues, you know, whatever happens in month 6 with that help that you're receiving. So very fun, very cool reading. I'm going to end the reading there. I really enjoyed reading for you. If you like this reading, please feel free to like or comment below. If you really enjoyed this reading, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I post pick cards like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. With that said, that was the last reading for today. I really enjoyed all the readings, and I really love reading for you guys. It's so much fun. I love my job. Yeah, so anyway, goodbye, and I'll see you in the next pick a card.